Just coming literally into the last minute now of the 24 hours, and soon the results will pop up on our screens, and we'll know who is this year's 24-hour World Time Trial Championship, virtually at least. Now these will be provisional results because there's going to be a fair bit of result wrangling on our behalf. As you can imagine, being a 24-hour event, a few occasional technical issues, and then we'll have to sort out some results as a result. Just coming into the final minute now, and that's it. So we should get some results coming through now. I'll just refresh my screen and we can see how people have gotten on. So, officially at least, our winner is none other than Lindsay McRae. So Lindsay joined us last year. Did very well last year as well, but it looks like he's taken the win this year, with Harold Treese and putting in, what's that, 692, nearly 693 kilometres for Harold Treese. Lindsay, the win, put in
133.8.
Yeah, 730.8, so a lot, basically. So there you go, guys. That is the conclusion of the vWTTC. Just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that joined. Let's have a quick recap of all the results, shall we? So starting with the 3-hour race. Get those up. So that was Mike Heaton, who in the 3 hours did nearly 95 kilometres, 94.237 kilometres for the 3-hour race. Then we had the guys doing the 6-hour race.
Ben Schwartz in the 6-hour.
Yeah, that was
taking 216 kilometres, 216.7 to nearly 217 kilometres in the 6-hour championship.
And then for the 12 hours we had Marco and Jill. Marco doing 390, just about 392 kilometres, and Jill 355. And then
it looked like Marco's target was 400, and it looked like he was going to stay on the turbo trainer until he got there, didn't it, when he was doing his cool down.
And then we had the Scorpion Paceline team in the team relay event, and I believe we are joined by Lindsay. Are you happy to have a chat with us, Lindsay?
Oh, good Joanna as well.
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry, on you go.
How are you doing? I mean, it's a stupid question, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah, bit tired. Contact points are all complaining. But I'm glad it's over.
Yeah, I can imagine. What hurts most at the moment?
Wrist and posterior.
Posterior. Okay, thank you for keeping that euphemistic. What was keeping you going in the final few hours?
Well, I'm not sure, to be honest. Pringles and kind of gummy bears were kind of the order of the day. So, but yeah, just trying to count it down.
Good man.
When you get to that point, Lindsay, do you start looking at the kilometres and saying, oh, I'll get to this kilometre, or are you looking at the time and going, oh, I've got 15 minutes, I'll do another 15 minutes? What way do you break it down?
Well, I was just trying to keep going till the end, and then because I was just the fatigue kind of was there, so I was just trying to hold a buffer between myself and second, really, so just try and match the pace. I didn't really have it in me to try and do anything else, so it was really just a bit of survival mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing your average power of around 159 watts So it's quite a difference there actually from when you started out. I think when we first looked, you were closer to around 200 right at the start.
Yeah, the wheels came off a bit. The kind of last kind of 8-10 hours, it was just gradually decreasing with time. It was just it wasn't. I was going to try and hold maybe if I could get 180 average or something, but that just wasn't going to happen today.
Yeah. Oh mate, well you did a fantastic job. What's your plan? What's your plan now? As in like immediate plan? What's the first priority?
I'm going to have a quick shower, and then I've got a meal at 6:30 in the local Chinese for my girlfriend's niece. So it's her 21st. So that's going to be interesting.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, you're going to be great chat then, aren't you?
It'll be guilt-free, Lindsay. You'll be able to eat as much as you want on that meal.
Well, that's kind of the thinking. Yeah, I won't be holding back.
Well done. Well, look, it sounds like you might be in a bit of a rush then, so we better let you go. You've got half an hour to get showered and out again.
Quick turnaround. Luckily, it's only 5 minutes along the road, so it's not too bad.
Well, best of luck. I mean, genuine best of luck getting through the meal. I hope you don't fall asleep.
I'll find a
Well done, Lindsay.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks for taking part again and being a great competitor. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, cheers,
No
Lindsay.
problem.
Take care.
Thanks for
Well
putting
done.
it on.
No worries, man. Well,
Okay, cheers.
so it looks like Joe's joined us, Joanna. How are you doing?
I don't even know how to answer that.
Yeah, I think your face said it.
I don't know whether it's a blessing and a curse that I was kind of the only woman, because in some ways, by the end, obviously, and firstly, can I just say congratulations to everybody who started, because it is like no joke. It's a punish. So I think anybody who started is an absolute weapon, and that's not just Lindsay. I think he did brilliantly, but anybody who had the guts to give it a go deserves huge kudos. So congratulations to everybody that took part. I found it harder in some ways not having somebody to pace against, because it kind of made me lazy a little. And seriously, guys, I just literally, remember I was telling you guys last year, I ended up with sepsis because Sabine and I were going at it last year, big time. And we both put everything out there. And I ended up going to hospital the following day. I had sepsis from a saddle sore because I was like, I'm not stopping. And we were talking about it after the event, and I was throwing up like massively from about the 11-hour mark. And I was joking with the guys because where I am is in the studio of a friend's place, and they let me come back this year, and I truly don't know why, because their entire studio was just the contents of my stomach at the 11-hour mark. And I brought 6 bags with me this time as a joke, because I was like, haha, after last year, and joking that I was going to make it to the 12-hour mark before that happened. And I'm not even kidding you, boys. 7 minutes past the 12-hour mark. And my partner was here going to me, see, now you're wishing you'd done the 12 hours and not the 24, right? Because you could be sitting there not having to get back on your bike again. And I was like, shut up! So it was a bit of a shocker for me. But last year, obviously, I had some really amazing competition close to me. And so it pushed me to keep going. Whereas this year, I was like, just, you know, you can live to tell the tale. But I think it actually makes it a bit harder because you focused a lot more. And yeah, that was quite different. But I haven't been able to keep anything down. Oh, no. So it's been interesting because I was riding much more at a pace that I knew my fat reserves would probably be able to be used, as opposed to me passing out, because it's only just morning here now. So I've been riding through the night, and I thought, I don't know that falling off my bike when I'm in the studio on my own is a good idea. So yeah, it was a very different experience this year, but I was motivated to finish because I want all of the women out there to go back yourselves.
Yeah.
Come and give it a go. I mean, I won't be, but you should.
Absolutely. No, like 100% kind of repeat that. And it's just whilst we're on that topic, for anybody that's watching, we do have the Women's Super Cup, which is taking place in January, which is a full weekend of virtual racing with nothing quite as long as this, but there are some quite long races in there and some time trials in there if anybody does want to kind of give it a go and just take that first step and maybe then consider some kind of ultra distance stuff. But one of the things Riley and I were talking earlier actually, and I think when you're creating an event like this and you're so used to seeing people like yourself who are just absolute machines, you actually kind of forget, and I think we remind ourselves today, like, this is a ridiculous event really, like in terms of how tough it is.
You're on mute, Joe.
I think you're muted at the moment, Joe, so.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, all good.
I was just saying that I think what you've just said is absolutely spot on, because 100% you've got to start somewhere. I'm not saying that everybody wants to do endurance cycling in real life or virtual, but my partner is just sitting here the other side and she's just going, no. So I don't think I'll be taking part. But I think the point I wanted to make by finishing it, even though I knew that I was going to be the only female at the end, is it is honestly a mindset thing. And I think that women underplay themselves. That's my kind of take on it. Guys tend to back themselves a lot more, and women tend to have a lot more self-doubt, from my experience of talking to people, women in cycling. And I think that we actually have an edge because we tend to be very resilient in a lot of ways, and in life we have to be. So I actually think that what you're setting up with these women's events is brilliant, because there's nothing to stop women just going and giving it a go. And anybody who starts is a weapon. Like, you don't have to crush out, however many Ks. You just go and try it and you'll surprise yourself. And, we need more women to keep the boys honest. I mean, clearly I didn't this year, so somebody needs to give it a better shot.
I think you're right. I want, with my coach hat on, I think one of the things that I see when it comes to time trialing in particular, women tend to execute their races a lot better. They tend to suffer more rarely from a rush of blood to the head and things like that. And they tend to be a little bit more calculated in their approach, which actually, particularly with ultra distance time trials, is well, you tell me. Yeah, it's the way to do it, I assume. Anyway.
100%. I mean, I know my coach Dylan at Training Wheels. He'll say to me, "Right, you've got to aim for these numbers." And I think, as from his perspective as well, and you've just reiterated the same, that we tend to do that. If it's do this for this long, we'll really strive to make that happen, and we don't tend to get carried away with ourselves. And in ultra distance cycling, in real life or virtual, that's really important. So yeah, I definitely think more women should give it a go. And if anybody wants to private message me and ask, because I know girls probably have a lot of questions, the saddle, there's a situation that we have to, well, so do boys, but you know what I mean. So anybody can reach out and message me. I'm more than happy to share my experience. If it encourages somebody else to try, then great, and I can hand the baton over to you. Otherwise, we're gonna have to rope Sabine in for next year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll try and do that anyway, but yeah.
Correct.
You need to get you both back on the course to make sure it's decided finally.
I don't know about that. We've both said that we're no good for each other, because I think in every year that we've competed against each other, I think she's beaten me more times than I've beaten her, but we've both been ruined. And it's the middle of summer for both of us. I mean, guys, really, can you imagine? I mean, she lives in Perth. That's even worse than here. It's hot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So I don't know, but you should definitely talk to her. I'm sure she'll be keen to oblige.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, definitely. So tell us, what is, how, I mean, you've done tons of real world ultra distance riding. How is a virtual ultra distance riding? How is it a different challenge?
That's such a good question. And I'm going to say, I don't care how you ride a bike. Some people are like, oh, gravel or oh, virtual or e-bikes or whatever. I don't care how you ride a bike. Do you? Like, does it matter? Some people like riding indoors. Some people like riding gravel. Some people like riding on road. Personally, I love all of it, although I'm terrible on gravel. So people probably would say I shouldn't. But it differs. It's so the same, but it's equally so different. So in New Zealand at the moment, we've got our top sprinters on our America's Cup yacht. So the America's Cup is a big sailing race that happens every fall. And New Zealand uses some of our top sprinters as the grinders that power the boat. And I've kind of been saying it's kind of like doing that is, you'd think, nothing like sprinting on the track, in the same way that doing this is nothing like riding on the road. But actually it is really the same and also totally different. So the things that are the same is hydration and nutrition, although it's totally different than what you would probably do on the road. So it does take a bit of practice. Climate control is totally a big factor, but again, it's a totally different way of managing it. You obviously don't have the tactics that you would if you were taking part in a real road event, but you get technicals just the same as you do when you're on the road. Might be a puncher. I think I actually created myself a problem today. It wasn't the platform spot that I got kicked off. So, you have technicals though as well. So a lot of the issues are really the same. I think personally, I find it a lot harder on the body being on a virtual. And if you speak to anybody that did the first race across America virtual, I think we've all still got PTSD because it was a lot more physically punishing than I think any of us thought it would be. So I find that being in that static position is a lot harder. Yeah. So I try and manage my setup really well, and I try and train beforehand. So like, for example, on Indievelo, which was brilliant, so massive kudos to those guys. Yeah. I've been practicing on it a bit just to get a bit of a feel for the platform, and I think that's important. But I think you have to hydrate really differently. You have to obviously cool yourself a lot more. I use cooling towels as well as a plethora of fans. But things like the dry air that you get created, you don't necessarily think about until you've done it. So I remember the first time I ever did virtual event, I got a really blood nose because you create a really dry environment. So there's kind of little things like that you don't necessarily think about unless you're involved in the virtual world. But equally in real life, you've got different challenges, haven't you? So it's not the same at all as cycling in the real world, but it is in so many ways. I think for me though, I like the fact that you're really focused on power. So I like the fact that it's a true test. Like when you guys did the virtual race across America, I loved that. I loved being able to just obsess over how strong can I be over a distance, and I found that really fascinating. So again, when you're doing like a time trial like this for 24 hours or 12 hours or 6 or whatever, you can really dial in your focus on your number, which is a lot harder. You've got so many more variables in the real world. It's cool. It's different, but it's cool.
That's really interesting. It's the same. It's the same problems, but just a different flavour of those same problems.
Absolutely. So we should all be tolerant of how everybody likes to cycle, and indoor has a really cool place. And I think it's quite cool that you get to see people who also take part in the real world, take part in virtual events, and you get to kind of like test yourself against them. I kind of like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and for us, one of the great things is being able to talk to people as well in exactly this way. You're the other side of the world right now. And yeah, I think it's fantastic. We can just kind of have a quick chat afterwards and during as well. Yeah. So, yeah. Right, we should probably.
Paris-Brest again this
year,
year?
Sorry, go on, Roddy.
Sorry, are you doing Paris-Brest again this year? Because I think that was part of Jill's schedule. Are you going to be competing against Jill?
Paris is only every 4 years. So if you're talking about the brevet Paris, that I took part in last year just after the race across America, the next edition of that is in 4 years' time. So, a lot of people are doing brevet to kind of practice for the lead up to it. Obviously, given it's not for 4 years, I won't be. But I can give you a bit of a heads up about what I am doing.
That'd be great.
Scoop for you guys. This is
Yeah.
the first time I've said it out loud, other than to the Ultra Cycling magazine, who haven't published it, so they'll probably kick me. But I'm going to try. No, I'm going to be the first person to cycle the length of New Zealand, length of Australia non-stop. So going from just north of Darwin, a place called Lee Point, with an amazing crew of people. So when I say me, that's a lie. I'll be doing the easy part. I'll be sitting down for about 12 to 14 days. And then the crew will do everything else, like feed me and hydrate me and deal with my upchuck and all of that stuff. And we're doing an embedded record to Uluru. So we'll go from Lee Point to Uluru and have that as an embedded world record, and then Uluru down to Melbourne, and we finish just south of Melbourne. So I've got an amazing crew of people from Australia and New Zealand who are going to be supporting me, and we start on the 18th of May. And I mean, that's going to be messy, isn't it?
Wow.
Imagine that.
I couldn't even imagine doing that, like even where you would start in terms of preparation. There must be a huge amount of logistical thinking.
I'm fairly terrified, I'm going to be honest. At this stage of the game, I'm more terrified than I am excited. I don't know why I thought it was a good idea. Well, I do know why. It was Rupert Guinness, who you guys know from doing virtual cycling as well as Race Across America and all of that stuff. He endeavoured to do it during COVID. So he's part of my crew actually, with his crew chief Nathan and some amazing Kiwis as well who were coming over. And I was just like, well, I've done the length and breadth of New Zealand, so like maybe we could go and just like kick it to the Aussies, you know, little New Zealand. No, but I just thought I've always wanted to cycle through the centre of Australia, so I was like, well, let's make it an adventure. So some really mad people are coming with me. And we're going to have a bit of an adventure for a couple of weeks, cycling through Australia, yeah, as in the fastest time. We'll see. We'll just see how we go.
Gosh, that is...
Sounds fantastic. Obviously, the heat's going to be quite high going through Uluru.
Well, we've got a friend, like this amazing woman who was the first woman ever to circumnavigate Australia. She is going from Port Augusta, which is kind of not the southernmost, but it is south of Australia. And she's doing a record from Port Augusta up to Darwin. And she said to me, why are you going north to south? And I was like, dude, why are you going south to north? But she is an Australian. She's probably used to the heat. But the hope is that it'll get cooler. So as I get more fatigued, I'm riding into the coolness. But then we have the headwind going that way. So I guess it's, you take the good with the bad, don't you? But, you know, headwinds are just hills, really, aren't they? So I guess we'll just be climbing a hill for 4,500 kilometres.
Yeah. Will you have people riding with you? Perhaps
No, not allowed. So thanks to World Ultra Cycling Association, they're officiating it for us for the world record. So there's lots and lots of rules, as there should be. Same as with you guys for virtual events, you know, to stop cheating and all of that kind of stuff. It's got to be legit. So they give us a whole heap of rules that not only myself, but the crew have to follow. So we'll be abiding by all of those, and yeah, making sure that when we finally do get to the finish line, you know, we've done everything appropriately, and then some other crazy person can go and try and beat it, which would be awesome.
Sounds fantastic.
Are you laughing in the background? I'm pretty sure I heard laughter. Jeez, I'm pretty sure you were laughing.
It's challenging. I'm not even sure what the correct words are for it.
Well, it's a similar distance to Race Across America, but it's flat predominantly until you get to Port Augusta, and then from Port Augusta to Melbourne it's hilly. But and I don't know, I haven't decided yet whether that's a good or a bad thing. Having just done this for 24 hours, I'm thinking maybe I don't like the idea of it being flat, because the hills break it up, don't they? You can kind of like spin your legs and just, whereas if I spin my legs, I'm just going to stop, which isn't ideal. So I don't know, we'll see how we go, but you know, you've got to try these things, haven't you?
Well, yeah.
Or maybe you don't.
Yeah, keep us updated. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by a dog here. Keep us updated. Like, we'd love to know. So that's in May, Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, flights to be confirmed to, because obviously we've got to get into Darwin and there's heaps of us coming from various locations around New Zealand, but I've got it provisionally booked to be the 18th of May that we start, and hopefully we finish on a public holiday for us in New Zealand as King's birthday. It's not actually his birthday, by the way, just we get a day off because we're the land of the long weekend, I suppose. So on the 2nd of June, it's a public holiday here. So I was like, well, that'd be pretty cool. Let's fly home on a public holiday. So that's when we've got to be finished by. So I've got to do it in 16 days. Otherwise, I guess I'm swimming.
There's another record there with the swim, I think.
Yeah, so to a triathlon.
No, I think it probably has been done though. You know, somebody will have done it.
Yeah, there's plenty of crazy people out there, isn't there? Yeah, how are you feeling now? It's the beginning of the day though, so you're going to try and get through today, or are you going to go have a sleep?
Absolutely not. I was saying before that I think because I run my own business, I'm part of a retail and commercial leasing agency. I'm based in Auckland, and there's 4 other boys, and you guys are boys, so you'll relate to this. You know how girls tell you stuff and you kind of half listen.
There's
not
no
all of you.
On this.
So I'm pretty sure I told them a couple of weeks ago that I had this on this weekend, but I guarantee that I've forgotten. So first thing I'm going to do is message them and go, hey guys, so I've been riding for 24 hours and by default I have the title, so I'm not going to be in today. I'm going to go to bed, have a sleep and see you tomorrow.
Good for you. Yeah, well earned.
Great.
Well earned rest. Right,
So thank you.
Thank you for the music.
Yeah, thank you. You did an amazing job, and thanks to Indievelo, who are absolutely brilliant, and really appreciate all the time and effort that you guys put into this for us, because without you, we wouldn't be able to have such Type 2 fans. So thanks again, and I would be spectating on the next event.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for your support, Joanna, and best of luck for your preparations in May. If you go ahead with it, we'll obviously track you closely on social media. But yeah, thanks very much for your support and joining in, and really well done for getting the job done.
My pleasure. Thank you so very much for having me, and you guys have a great day. See you again.
Too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right then, guys, that concludes the vWTTC for 2023. So our next event is in January, and that is the Women's Super Cup. That's the 24th to the 26th of January. So for anyone that is watching, it's a club-based event, so let your local club know, teams of at least 3 women, and yeah, we've got all kinds of races. We've got criteriums, road races, time trials, points races, you name it, we've got it. So yeah, hopefully we'll see many of you in January. But thanks very much, and well done to everybody that has competed over the last 24 hours. Absolutely nuts. It's got to be the toughest virtual cycling event. Can't think of anything else that would beat it. Maybe virtual ramp, but we'll see you in the summer for that. Thanks guys, take care everyone. We'll see you